I want to do more with myself. I didn't want to just be like, oh, I'm just working just to provide for my family. No, I wanted to show my kids that there's much more out there. So no, I'm gonna go back to school. I'm gonna get my associate's degree.
My career as a medical assistant was very successful, but once you get to the top, that's it. So that really drove me like, hey, I'm kind of stuck now. I needed to really be a good role model for my son. So I just said, let me go back to school.
Deployed 3 times while I was in the Army and got back from my last deployment and decided I wanted to go back to college. My sister, she's the first person in our family to even obtain a degree, so I kind of looked at it as something that I really wanted to do.
I was struggling as a single parent and working, not making enough to provide for my son. I want to be able to let him be happy and live freely without having to worry about when the next meal is going to come. So I feel like going back to school and getting my degree so that I can give him a better life is definitely one of my biggest motivations.
My name is Tina Cheuk. I'm an assistant professor at California Polytechnic State University. A core part of my work is supporting student parents at my campus.
I started the nonprofit organization, Generation Hope, that drives systemic change for parenting college students all across the country. 1 in 5 undergraduate students in this country are student parents.
70% are mothers and 30% are fathers.
These are more likely to be students of color. They're more likely to be under-resourced students.
A lot of times they're the first generation of their family to go to college. They may be from military families.
Many are single mothers.
The student parents are highly motivated.
They are very driven. They have higher GPAs than their non-parenting peers.
They're doing this not only for themselves, but for their kids.
But it's a large group of students that has been allowed to remain invisible and to fall through the cracks of higher education.
I'm in school with 2 kids, and it's not easy. Imagine going to school, making sure that both of the kids are okay. And on top of that, I have a kid that's in school himself. So I have to stop my work and help him with his work to make sure he stays up to date, because I don't want him to fall behind. Which one's greater, which one's less?
This one is big.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And just regular house duties and cooking and making sure they're fed and bathed and in bed on time. It's hard.
They're juggling so many things, and there's only so many hours in a day, so they're experiencing time poverty.
I think the biggest thing that I'm always worried about is making sure that I'm where I'm supposed to be when I'm supposed to be there. I have to make sure that I'm out of class and starting to kind of head towards getting my daughter by about 1 o'clock, even though my class ends at 1:15, just to make sure I'm getting back, and if traffic's kind of bad, that I have enough time to make it back here. I think the most stressful things is when your kids are sick or things aren't sticking to schedule like they're supposed to, because then your schedule gets completely out of whack and then nothing's going quite right.
There are things that are inevitable for all parents. Your child will get sick. You will have an interruption in childcare. And knowing that you could be in an academic setting that doesn't make accommodations for that, I think is really scary.
Hi. It's definitely very challenging just because parenting always comes first. Hi, Miri. I am a single parent, and when it comes to physical help, I don't really have a lot of that. Come on here. You share with everybody?
I share with everybody.
That's so good. So if I have to walk out like in the middle of class because my son is sick at daycare, I feel like not all professors will be understanding.
Thank you so much, Mommy.
It definitely does worry me because I know when you miss a certain amount of classes, they will withdraw you from the class. So I'm very nervous about not being able to graduate.
There's a lot of stigma and negative bias to be a student parent. They don't feel comfortable in sharing that they are a parent because they think that professors will think less of them, that they're less motivated, that they'll need additional accommodations, or that they've made bad choices in life.
I went to college for about a year, but I got pregnant with my son. Through the whole pregnancy, I had a condition called hyperemesis. So I was sick a lot. I would try to tell the professors I'm gonna leave early, and they just thought I was lying. Instead of letting me make up the work, they just said, you don't come, you get a 0. That's just the way it is. I didn't really know anyone on campus, so I didn't really have that support system. So I ended up dropping out of college when I was 20.
Student parents are 10 times less likely to graduate, but that has nothing to do with their cognitive ability or their ability to do the work. It's really about the systemic hurdles and the barriers that we have placed before them.
I was a student parent myself, and I needed lactation space. But there was no lactation space that was accessible or clean. So I asked. The answer was, no, it's not possible. And it caused a lot of stress in my life. And it wasn't until I gathered a student parent group. And even though there was only 5 of us in the student parent group, the dean was like, oh, well now, Tina, you have a group behind you. Now we're open to listening. And now let's figure out how to get a lactation room for you. My lone voice wasn't gonna be adequate, but it was the collective voices of myself and my peers to bring the issue to the administrators for them to recognize, like, it wasn't just one student's problem, but it was actually a lot of us asking for the same thing.
Most people think that if we're talking about parenting students, we're talking about, a small group of students somewhere on some college campus. And in reality, it's 22% of all undergraduate students in this country are parenting, caregiving, taking care of a little one or a child as they're working on a college degree.
So how do we shift the narrative? How do we ensure that my peers, my colleagues, staff members, students really understand the supports that are necessary for student parents and create an infrastructure that really supports their thriving? So making sure that student parents cross that finish line and they're ready for the workforce.
There should be a lot more support. There should be more like counseling.
I wish professors took student parents more serious. I wish they understood parents' lifestyles.
There are just a myriad of policies that really get at supporting student parents. That could be small signals in our syllabus, saying students with dependents are welcomed in my classroom, flexible attendance policy, changing tables in the bathroom.
We have to do more to not only support this population, but to communicate that we see them and that we value them in a college classroom.
It's really about multi-generational outcomes. If we invest in student parents, we are investing in their children, and everyone benefits.
I'm majoring in criminal justice. It's very challenging, but I know I can do it.
I desperately want it, so I gotta keep going.
I didn't even really care about going to college until I had children. I want them to see I did something to fruition, and I want them to do the same thing.
I really just want to show my son that if I could do it, you can do it.